Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of this cool asset browser that we're doing. All right, so today we are going to do the side panel. I've been mentioning this for a while and now it's here. All right, so the side panel is here. This panel you see here, this is the result for today. If we click this little button there, you can see some buttons over here are missing. So now those buttons are in the panel, so we can toggle the panel here on and off there. You can open it, close it. It's great. It also opens when you click on one of the assets, and you can see it also loads the tags here and loads the images from the website there. We will get another episode clicking on this and opening the preview somewhere. I don't know if we're just gonna make it on top, or I'm not really sure exactly where we're gonna be showing these images, but we should make it show bigger, maybe. I don't know. And then later we'll make these tags also work as well. There's the similar assets part that is missing here, but that is going to be simple to do. We have the resolution here, HDR or AXR. This is going to be for settings. This is going to be for downloading. Instead of just clicking on here, we're going to be downloading, clicking here when we're going to download one of the images. So we don't click and download immediately. But we will use this little button here to download immediately if we don't want to have that open. Just clicking or I don't know, maybe an option just to click on here and download. And if we want to download the images really just by clicking here, right? Okay, so I have another button here. This is going to be for more information or anything that we have on the information on the assets from the website. But for now, that is what's going to happen. Let's start making this right now. Let me go back to my previous result so we can start the same place that we all are at the moment. Removing that and removing that. Apply and accept. And this is the previous one. You can see there's a little bit of change, specifically noticeably with those buttons here, and the side panel it's not there. All right, so I'm going to show you what I did in Qt Designer. Okay, well, this is the UI that I did. I was actually trying to see if I could add some color to this button. I know I've done this before because I've done it for this project manager here. What are you doing, Houdini? It's gonna crash now. I can see this. I have this color for this project manager, but I'm not exactly sure how I managed to do this because it's not working for me now at the moment. It's weird. I don't want to show that. So we could add some color. I was just playing around with that, but it seems like right now it's not working. I'm gonna remove this style sheet for now. We're not gonna make any of this on this video. I would encourage you to go ahead and do it yourself. If you wanna have this exact same layout, you can do your own layout if you want. This is just me basing it a little bit on what Bridge here does. You can see it has the images at the top here. Actually, I could add these little things as well here, and it has the tags here, and then has like a related assets or similar assets. It's called in Polyhaven. But this is basically what I'm basing it on. Of course, you can do whatever you want with yours. This is what I'm doing for mine. I'm basing it on that. I'm going to close that. But I just want to show you that. If you want to follow along with me, you can go ahead and go to Patreon and get this file and start from there. I can show you some of what I did here. You can see is all this area here. History. Now the splitter that I did before, which had only 2 sections, now it has 3 sections. So this section from the assets, is the other section collapsed or what? Oh no, it's here, but it doesn't have it doesn't have a line for some reason. So this is the side one that I made. These buttons are just gonna be for switching the different pages of this stack widget. Some labels, some lines, and it's pretty simple, really. It's not that hard to do. So you can see here is a scroll area. Well, here is the, okay, so this is the, sorry, let me see what I'm doing here. Properties layout. So this is the whole layout. So I have a footer here, the footer layout, which has this, which is just a horizontal layout, has these buttons there. And I moved the resolution and format buttons here. And then I have a scroll area here. Wait, why do I have scroll area there? Oh yeah, this scroll area is only for. I put everything there. Seems like so everything is on this scroll area. I'm not exactly sure what I did that, but there it is. So I only wanted to scroll from here down, but it seems like I did that, or I might change that, but so I have everything on a scroll area. I put the properties layout here, a vertical layout here for the asset and the name, and there's just a line separator, and then I have another scroll area here. Weird. Yeah, this is the scroll area that I want. I'm not sure exactly why I have two scroll areas. I might delete this scroll area. So yeah, this scroll area here is the one that I want to have this area scroll, because I want to have this always staying. I don't think this scroll area is going to be activated ever, because we have another scroll area inside anyway. So this has the tags there, path tags, which is not gonna be, it's gonna be static, the similar, and then I have two widgets here, which is gonna be, these widgets are gonna be replaced with flow layouts, which of course we're already using that flow layout here, and this is gonna be a flow layout just for buttons of the tags, and this is gonna be a flow layout for small icons, like similar to this. It's gonna be exactly the same as this actually, with other assets that are coming from the API. Polyhaven API, they are similar to this asset, right? All right, but it's gonna be in a smaller area over there. So, all right, so first thing we're gonna do, go back to the code, and whatever we're loading our file here, we're gonna load version 3 here, okay? So version 3, if I just load that, now we have this area there. And again, this is just all made in Qt Designer, so I'm not going to be talking about any of that here. You know what? We can close that and have more space here. Like that, because I don't want to be coding in such a small space there. There. Okay, cool. We have all this space for the asset. So first thing I want to do is I want to toggle this open. First, I want to have it closed at the beginning, but I want to be able to toggle it on and off. And then you can still make this as large as you want. You can grab it just the same as this side here. You can even collapse it by hand, like dragging it there, or just pulling it from the side like that, right? So you can do that, which is great. But I want to have like a button just to show and hide it, instead of just pulling it as well. So this button here is going to be doing that. So that button, it's called here, you can see this button is called the properties button, right? So let's grab that button from the layout first. I'm going to grab a bunch of buttons today. It's going to be button land. Just have that. So right here where we're grabbing buttons, I'm going to grab that button there, right? So I'm going to call this properties button, and I'm going to grab this button there, right? So just so we have it. That's going to be it for that, for the properties button. And then now we're going to as I mentioned, this can be collapsed by setting a size. So any of these splitter sections, you can set a size. If you set a size this to 0, you can toggle it off, or just hide it, right? Okay. So let me see we're gonna make a function for this. Let's make it right here. Right here. Yes. Let's call this function toggle properties. Properties. Like that. Right. So now we can, as I mentioned, we can set the size for the splitter, and the splitter is called splitter. We already have that from before. We can get the sizes from this, from the splitter. Let's print those sizes and see what they are. Also, let's connect that button to this function, right? Because we haven't connected it. Right. Excuse my dog. He is doing something. So right here, before we load the assets, let's connect that. So properties button dot clicked dot connect. It's gonna connect to self the toggle properties. That one. Okay. So now if we refresh this, if we click on this, you can see there we go. We have the sizes there, and those are sizes in pixels, I think. Should be in pixels. So that's the size. We're gonna set the size of this to 300. That's just a value I just picked to make it. And that's gonna want to have. So we can set values here for these guys. So let's do that, right? So it has 3 values. So what I'm going to do is actually get the sizes. So left, middle, and right. I'm gonna not copy, right? Just right. And I'm gonna grab this on self that splitter sizes. So I'm gonna just grab those sizes here. And I'm gonna just make a properties default size. It's gonna be the size that I'm gonna be using for the panel this. So it's gonna be 300 for me. You can make this however, whatever size you need. In my case, I'm just gonna be doing that. Let's just delete this. But as I mentioned, you can say splitter.set sizes like that, and then pass a list of sizes, and you can say, let's say 200 and 1000 and 300, or the properties default size. If you make it really big, this is going to use the rest of the size basically. And this is going to be 300, 200, and this is going to be basically use the rest if it's not available to use the 1000, it's going to use the rest of it. So if we do that and I click here, you can see this guy resize. This one's, I guess, at 300, which is weird, but if I make this larger, you can see if I click here, it resizes that. So we are actually setting the sizes, right? Cool, that's great. So what I want to do is I don't want to change this guy. I just want to keep it as it is. So instead of setting the value, I'm just going to use the current value, which is the left we've already grabbed here. The middle, we also don't want to change it. So let's leave it at middle. And then we want to change that. Only the that one, right? So if we refresh this and we change this value, you can see I'm setting that one. Oh, actually, for some reason I also I changed this guy because I'm not exactly sure why. There, okay. Guess because the other sizes were, there we go. So this one is the one that is changing. So if I want to set this to hide it, I can just change this to 0 and actually refresh, and I can hide it like that, right? So right now I'm not sure exactly why this is growing. That's kind of weird. But now we need to toggle this. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of code just so to speed this up a little bit, so we don't have to be. All right, so this is gonna be toggling that panel. So what it says here is, if this right value is 0, we're getting the sizes. If it's 0, it basically means that it's close, right? So we're gonna set the left to whatever value it is. We're gonna get the middle value and just subtract 300 from it, and then pass 300 to this. If this is not 0, it means this is open. So else it's gonna set that. It's gonna leave it as the default value, plus the right value, so plus 300, so it doesn't change. And then this is going to be 0. So basically adding this value to the middle, so this doesn't jump or whatever, right? So if we test this now, all right, so there's an error here, 251. Oh, there's an extra. All right, so this is fixed now. Let's reload this. Okay, so this is working. If we click this button, goes away. If we click it again, shows up. Go away, goes up. Awesome. So that is working. Great. Look at that. Awesome. Cool. So I don't want to, we could set a value for this if we want to keep it as some value, but I just want to try to keep it as it is. So you can see it's not totally working. For some reason, this is actually going down and down and down. I don't know why, but it tries at least to keep it as that. But you can actually just put a value in this as well if you want to always have it as some specific value. Like let's say if you wanted to have this as 200, for example, the left always, which could be a good idea maybe. But so yeah, if we click this, you can see that's gonna try to stay there. Still moves a little bit because it's showing this little handle here. That we could just never allow handles on this one to just keep it as not moving. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it as that, like that, because that actually that, no way, that doesn't, oh, it does show the handle. Look at that. Okay, we can actually make that handle not appear if we wanted to, but for now that is good. There's gonna be another thing happening here. When we click on this guy, on one of these guys, we're gonna need to open this if it's closed. If I click it, I want it to open. So right now you can see it's trying to do the setting up the images. So what I'm gonna do is go here, asset clicked. I'm gonna disable this assign function. Don't forget to reassign and re-enable it, because if you want to set something, this is gonna be like, oh, why is it not setting it to my light? But for now, I'm just gonna disable it so it's not telling us that to select the light. So, but I want to click on this and want to open this. I also want it to have it closed by default. So let's do a few things here. So I want to use this same function. The same function that we just created for all that. I don't want to create multiple functions to do this stuff that we're doing. So instead of creating another function, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a property so we can reuse this function here for different things. So I'm going to create an action, and the action is going to be either toggle or just show. So it's going to be to start off, it's going to be toggle, is going to be like the default value is going to be there. So toggling is going to be, this is going to be the toggle functionality, right? So let's put that on an if. If action equals toggle, let's do this part, right? So that is what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna have, like I mentioned, a show option when we click one of these assets there. So we're gonna have another action here. If action equals show. Also, we're gonna check if the right side is actually closed, it's 0. So if the right panel is closed, then we set it to something, which is gonna be exactly this first command that we did here. Okay, copy and paste it here. Just put that command there. All right, so we could make this if right is 0 and action is show. We can also use this, but I'm just making this for clarity. But you can optimize this if you want to. Right. So now if this is close, actually it's not working now. You can see I'm clicking this, and it's because we're not passing the toggle here when we're connecting this guy. So let's put that there. Let's put a lambda here so we can pass an attribute to this function, and let's call the action toggle. Right. So that should be good. Right. Why is this not happy? Because I didn't type lambda correctly. Lambda there. That should work now. I mean, this should work, but this is not doing anything because it's not sending the value. So now when we click the asset, let's go back to where we click the asset around here. Asset clicked. We are going to here, before we do anything, let's just self toggle properties, and the action is gonna be show. Thing is, I don't want, if I click this twice, I don't want to be toggling. So that's why we're only showing it when we click. If we click again, it's not gonna show, it's not toggle it. So you can see now, if I have it close, I click, it shows up, which is great. That is working perfectly. So now we can start doing stuff to the panel, right? Let me do one more thing on that guy, on the setting the sizes for that. And let's go to the section where we are here, where we created the splitter here, and let's do self.splitter. Gonna set a stretch factor for the last panel here. Let's give it a 2, just so you can see here. It's gonna stretch a lot right now, but I don't want it to do that. So what I'm gonna do is just say initial size and height properties, basically. So this is gonna basically hide the properties. Self that splitter set sizes. Again, we're gonna do it with the set sizes, And I'm going to say, let's give it 200 for the first one. I'm going to give it 2000 for the middle one and 0 for that one. Again, if it doesn't, it's not able to fit 2000, it's going to give it the rest of the value of the area. So now you can see it's hidden by default, which is great. And when I click it, it opens. And when I toggle this, it just stays. And this is not toggling anymore. It's just staying like that. Right? It's not going smaller and smaller. So whenever I click here, shows the little guy there. Cool. That is awesome. All right. So now let's start populating this area here. So I'm going to create a function to add the images that go here. If we go and see the website for the website. What is the website? Let's see. Do I have a website over here? Doesn't seem like I do. Let me grab a tab from here. Right, Polyhaven site, HDRs. And when you click on one of the HDRs, this is the images that we want. This little one. And then again, I don't know where we're gonna show this. I haven't solved that, but we're gonna show these little images for now, and then we have these similar assets where we're gonna show here. And these tags here, these little tags. If you want to show the categories as well, you can. I'm just going to show the tags from here. But you can also show the categories if you want here. And add a different section for those and make them show up here. It's up to you. In my case, I'm not going to do that. But you can. You can if you want to. All right, so we're going to get those images. And I figure where those images are being grabbed from the website. So I am getting those images the same way they are doing it on the website. So we are going to create a let's see, where am I putting that, just so this is makes sense with my code. Right here, I'm gonna create a function. I'm gonna call this load asset previews. This is gonna take self. Why is this didn't populate self? That's weird. Because there's an error on the name. And then I'm gonna take an asset name here because I want to know what asset I am loading it for. Okay. So I'm gonna copy some code here that well, it's not code. It's basically some nodes here. Not that one. Yes. So why is this not in the right indentation? So this is where those assets are stored. So this is how the website loads those. So the only thing that changes in this URLs, you can see there's a URL for the thumbs, one for the primary, and one for the render. And those correspond with the website images here. This is the thumb, this is the primary, and this is the render. You can see this is the render applying that HDR. So the only thing that changes here is this, and for this one, it's a different URL altogether. So we're gonna have to figure out how to do that. And this is the website. This is the address to get the similar images, and this is how we're gonna get the tags. So for now, why is this again not indented? Stay indented, dude. All right, so something's wrong, I think. Why is this indent expected? Because I didn't have anything on my function yet. Okay, so let's get the first. Should we get the images first? Let's just do something quick and let's get the tags first. So the tags are really quick to get. Really, are gonna be nice. So you can see if I print this line, which is the tags here. This is how we're getting the data. Remember, we're getting the data on the here from the JSON file. Whenever we load the assets, that is what when we get the category, each asset has the tags on it, apart from the name, and then we just loop it through the keys here. But we have that data here, so we're gonna use that data to grab the tags. We just need to get the asset name, and then we head to the tags property, and that's gonna give us the property of from the JSON file, from the original data that we're looking at. So if we actually go and print that, this is not gonna happen because this is not doing anything. Let's call it somewhere. Here when we click the asset here, let's call this self dot load previous. And then we need the name, which is going to be, in this case, just the name that we grab right here, which is the name that is passed when we click on the asset, right? So that should work. Which is basically a name like this. If you click on this, you can see, there we go. We have the tags. There it is. That's how we get the tags. And yeah, if you want to check that, you can check the URL. Again, this line, I don't know exactly why that is there. Still, if you want to check that, you can go to this URL and check it out. Check out what this is returning, and put it in check the JSON to see what is happening, and you can see what is returning there and how are we getting the tags, which we already did. Let's just get the studio, which is smaller. See if I get this that we're getting, you can see here's the tags, and this is the couch sofa, etc. So we're getting it from this element. We're getting the tags. Basically, it's pretty simple. If you can see this in a JSON, not JSON formatter, something like that. You can see this is the asset that we want, and then this contains the tags element here. This is what we're getting. So that's why we are just doing this as a name tags. So that's pretty damn simple. So let's just add those tags to the part here. So before we add this to the tags, the tags view, which is we're gonna create, is gonna be just a flow view as well as we did before for the images here. So we're gonna create a flow view, but only for buttons in this case. It's gonna be really nice that we already have that flow view, and just gonna use it for something different. So let me create that right where we create the other flow view here. I'm gonna create that. I'm gonna get this code and put it over here. Let me just separate this so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so I'm creating a tags view, and this widget, actually we need to grab it from the UI as well, which is going to be this widget here. We're going to replace, we can basically add a layout, and the layout of that widget is going to be that flow layout that we're creating. So let's grab that first. Here, let's grab it over here. So we're just calling it tags widget, and it's going to grab that tags widget from the layout. And here we're creating a new flow layout for the tags. It's called tags view, and then that widget it's setting a layout and using that tags view. And this, I'm just setting the spacing to 0 to have no separation on that one. So now that we have this tag view, we can populate it with the tags over here where we are. Where was that? Load assets. down here. So here we can populate that now. Okay. We can say, all right, so we can say for tag in self dot data dot asset name tags. So we're gonna go on that list. You see it returns a list, right? So it's just gonna loop on this list that we just got from the tags, which is created as a list. So we're gonna, for each one of those tags that we're getting, we're gonna in that layout that we just created, the tags layout, the tags view, sorry, we're gonna add a widget, and for this time it's just gonna be a simple Q push button, and then this button is gonna get that tag. So it's gonna just grab that name. So it's gonna create a button for couch, for sofa, for wood. So if we do that and reload this, we're gonna have tags there. Look at that. We have the tags. Woo! And they have like this layout. You can see it just, they wrap around there, which is pretty nice. Now we have a problem here, because if we click another one, you can see it adds more tags to that. Remember, we had to do the same things for this. For this layout, we have to clear it before we added more assets here. So we're gonna do exactly the same thing for this. So here in the at the very start of this, when we start to load this, we're gonna clear. Again, we have a clear layout function that we already created, and we're gonna clear the tags view with that same function there. So if we reload, click this, it's there. If we click this, you can see now it has new tags and it's working perfect. Look at that. Awesome. We're loading only the tags that we have here. You can see there's three tags here. So this is actually working. Great. Awesome. Right. Cool. All right. So now let's start getting the assets from here to populate this little area here. We can get the name here, which is also a really simple one to do that. Again, the name comes from the same data. You can see if we go to this website that we have here, you can see that in this same JSON that we're calling, there is the key for this, but it's also a name attribute, which we can actually grab and put it here. Since we already are doing the same thing for the tag here, we could actually just grab this, copy, paste it here. And instead of tags, we just get the name. Sorry, wrong area. Get the name. So we just need to get this label and pass it the name. So let's get the label from the from here. Let's get the label so we can actually asset name. So this is gonna be that. So we're just getting the asset name label. Reference to that one too, we can actually set it. So let's go down to that area. Also, I tend to use a function of PyCharm here, which I can actually set a bookmark here. Can I set bookmarks by right clicking? I don't think so. But there is here navigation, and is it navigation? Where are you? Navigation. Is it a navigation? Where are they? I don't remember exactly where they are in the menus, but let's see. Let's see if I search for bookmark, does it tell me where it is? Bookmark, edit bookmarks. Seems like it's in edit. Oh, there it is. You can see it. You can toggle a bookmark, which is basically setting a bookmark on your code. And then I added these keys, alt, page up, and page down, to go to the next bookmark. So yeah, if I'm know I'm going to be coming back to this area a lot, I just have a bookmark there and then go to the other area that I'm working on, which is actually this area here. I can set another bookmark there and I just switch back with page up and page down really quickly. So if you know what I'm doing, that might be what I'm going to be doing now. So I'm not scrolling a lot there. So here I just need to say, this is going to be the self dot name label. Asset name label is going to be a set text to this text that we have here. So there we go. That's going to be the name of the asset. And there's a little space there. So we can do that. And that's going to be clicking here and you can see Christmas photo. And click on the other one, changes. Click another one, Studio Small 1. So that's pretty cool, right? Yeah, that is pretty cool. Nice. All right, so now let's get the images because that's going to be really nice to get. So I'm going to just grab a little bit of code here. So I can just do this quicker for you. So here I have this code there. Let me, I guess, expand this a little bit so you can see it. So I have a URL. Again, we discussed this. I'm just using this format. New way of replacing in the string because this looks a lot like Rust and I like that way. So I'm just putting a curly brackets here where I'm gonna replace something, and then the asset name is gonna be replaced there. So this is what it means. Like when you do that format, it's gonna replace this wherever these curly brackets are. If you have more than one curly brackets, you can do comma and then put the next one, and you can replace several ones. So this is the other URL. Sadly, these URLs are all different, so we're gonna have to do them separate like this. I have a height and width for this. I'm just getting something that is approximately what I have here. You can change this height and width, whatever you wanna get for now. For now, I'm just gonna do that. So I'm passing this asset name here to finish this URLs as we discussed before. Just adding this part here to the URL there, this little name there. And then I'm just creating 3 Q labels to put the images on, right? And we're gonna use those labels to hold the images, and then we're gonna add those to the widget there. So, but before we do that, we're gonna change a little bit in the image downloader. You can remember that again, since these are images from the internet, from a website, we need to actually grab them from the internet, right? So what we're gonna do is in the image downloader that we created before, we're gonna modify it a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. So let's go to that. It's all the way up here, image downloader. You can see this is the image downloader that we created before. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, just so I don't have to create a new image downloader specific for passing labels, we're just gonna create a new function here. Just gonna set label image, and then this is gonna take again the image binary. It's gonna be very similar to this one, and it's gonna basically replace that when we send a label. We're gonna use this one when we send a mixed asset item. What we're doing right now, we're gonna use this one. Okay, so let me clean up this and a little bit. We have some dead code there. You don't need to. We also cache this to the database, which we did in the last video. I don't want to do that for these ones. I don't think we need to, but if you want to as well, you can also cache those to the database if you want. In my case, I'm not gonna do that. Again, it's gonna be really similar to this. I'm gonna actually, basically I can copy this code and paste it here because that's going to be exactly the same. And then here, instead of doing this, I'm just going to say self parent set pixmap to the self that pixmap. So this is how you set it to the label, which is going to be really simple. So how do we call this when we have a label, and how do we call this when we have an image asset item? So that is going to be here. So we're going to put a condition here, and then actually going to put two conditions there. So let me copy this code. I'm going to do it here. So instead of just calling this one all the time, we're going to say if, let me just delete this dead code. Actually, that dead code can show you how do I get the type. So this is, if you wrap something in the type function, it will print the type of whatever that is. If this is a string, if this is a button, something like that. So this is how you get the type of something. You can also compare types with the is instance. So you can say if this widget is instance of mix item, which we is the first thing we pass or whenever we download these images. If this is an instance of that, let's call the regular image. If this is an instance of label, which is what we're going to pass now, call the other one. Okay, so we're going to delete this one here because we're already calling it here. So that's how we're going to handle that. Let me delete that code. So it's pretty simple. We're just saying, again, testing the widget that we're passing here, what type of it is, and then we call it either this function for the mix asset browser, mix asset, or this for the label. So now that we have that ready, we can go back to the code at the bottom, or we can actually use our bookmarks there, and then we can call it here. And we're gonna make a little bit of a little loop here to optimize a little bit of our code there. So let me copy this, which is code that we already did when we downloaded the images. So remember that we created a request with the QNetwork request. We are calling here the image downloader here, and again, this is going to be with a label, and then we start fetching. So here I just created a little list of tuples. So I have I need the URL, and I need the actual label here. So I just put the URL and the label, the URL and the label, and the actual Q label widget, the URL and the Q. So now we can say for each image on images. So it's going to give me one tuple at a time. So I'm getting here to the request. I'm passing the URL here, which is the index 0. It's going to be the URL. And in the image downloader, I'm passing the actual Q widget, the Q label here to get that image. And that is how we're doing that. And then we actually need to insert those to the little stack widget here, it's called. And actually we haven't grabbed that from the, let's go to my other, there. No, that's not my, there, here. We haven't grabbed this from the UI. We need that here. So I'm going to grab all these things, which are three little things here. So I'm getting the, wait, what did I do? Did something wrong there, sorry. Let's go to, hopefully it didn't make a mistake there. Here, just made a mistake. So this, we have the the detail images is gonna be the images widget here that I'm doing here. I'm gonna call it this guy here is a stack widget. Stack widget is basically something you can add. You can see me if I add this here something. It actually no, it has pages, so I can insert a page. You can add several pages here, and you can see you can contain widgets on those pages, and we're gonna use these buttons to move between those pages. So we're gonna have 3 pages on this one, and it's gonna be we're gonna move with the pages with these buttons there. So that's why I'm getting that as detail images, and then I'm getting the page back and page next buttons there. Good, so that is good. Let's go down here, and now we can set those images. Insert those images here, which we're going to be downloading. We can insert those into the detail images here. Self detail images. We just insert like this, really simple. Insert a widget, and then we just need to say at what index we're gonna insert it. This is gonna be the first index or the first page. It's gonna be the thumb label, and then we're gonna do this 3 times. We just only have 3, so no need for creating a loop or whatever. So it's gonna be index 0 is gonna be the thumb. This is gonna be the change that word, delete more than I need it. This is gonna be the primary label. Be careful with that. And this is gonna be, again, deleted more than I wanted. This is gonna be the render label. All right, so again, we are setting the URLs. We are creating the Q labels for holding the image. We're looping here, grabbing the images from the internet, and then we're inserting those into the widget here in the UI. So let's save this and try it. Let's see how it goes. All right, so click here. There we go. We have images. This thing doesn't work because this is not automatic. We need to program these buttons, sadly, but we have an image. And if we click another one, there is the same image. And we have the same problem as the tags and that this is not being clear. So we also need to clear it. Okay. So before we move the buttons, let's clear this. Oh, you know what? Let's first do the buttons. The little buttons. So let's go up to here, and then we're going to connect the buttons here with the same way we connected some other functionality here, like this one. Just gonna paste that. So the page back and page next buttons are going to be connected to this change image index function, and then we're gonna just add this function here. I'm gonna explain it in a second. So there it is. This is in the wrong indentation. There we go. So change image index. It's just getting first the current index of this widget. So the current index is gonna be just a number. In this case, it's going to be 0, 1, or 2 because we're going to have 3 images on it. So it's going to get the current index to see where we are on this widget. And then I'm going to just get what button has sent the signal, either the back or the next. So we grab that button here. We've done that before as well. When you click on these guys, if the button is next, we're gonna set the index of these guys, which basically just adding to the index. Try to ignore this a little bit for now. I'm gonna explain why I'm doing here. But if I'm clicking the next, I'm basically setting the current index, the current index to the current index plus 1. So I'm adding to the current index. If it's the back button, I'm decreasing that by removing 1. Sorry. And then here I'm just taking some if functionality. This is like a ternary. I think it's called ternary operator. This value, if this value is this, if this value is if this condition is true, we do this. If not, we do something else. Okay, so it's just an if included here in one line. So what is happening here is that if the next button is equal to 2, which is it's basically at the top of the images, is at the third image. What I want is basically go to the first one, right? So it loops, so it doesn't stop at image number 3. Basically it loops. So if the current image it's 2, which is basically if it's less than 2, increment it. If it's not less than 2, so we're at the third image, let's go back to the first index, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So we have 3 images. So as long as we are not in the image number 3, we increment. Else we just go to the first one. And then at the bottom here, it's doing exactly the same. If we are greater than 0, that means that we're not at the first image. If we are the first image, then make this 2, so it goes to the last image. So it basically adds a looping mechanism to the buttons, right? So it goes through all the images, even if you keep pressing forward or back. So if we can test this, so something is majorly wrong now. Not sure exactly what I messed up. What did I... Sorry, I know what I did. Here, I removed the self.load assets function from here. So there we go. Let's do it again. So there we go. If we click on this guy, you can see it's loading the images. If we click, there we go. We have the images there. Cool. And then you can see this is the first, second, and third. If I click again, you can see it goes back to the first one, right? That's what we're doing in that. If we are on the first one, which is this one, we click back, we go to the third one. So it's basically just looping. This is working great. Look at that. Awesome. Oh, nice. Cool. So we have that working, and yeah, I think we are done. But not really. If I click on this one or this one, you can see we have more images here, more than just 3. So it's basically adding to the widget more images because we never clear it. So let's remove them. We're gonna just grab some little piece of code here to remove those. It's gonna be really simple. So here, before we populate this, we're gonna do this. So we are here just saying if the images count is greater than 0, basically we have images on it, right? And then we run a while loop. So while this count, this count has something, so it means there is still an image on here. Well, while there are images here, just go to the to that widget, details images, and remove the widget at this index, which is going to be the first one. So we're removing this widget. If there's another widget, it runs again. If there's another widget, it runs again. If there's no widgets, this loop ends basically, right? So we're just basically removing the previous images here. So we can actually just call it remove the previous images. So now we're not going to have multiple images there in the same widget there on the same stack there. We click this guy, loads the images, Let's click another one. If we made it correctly, this should change. Yeah, it changes. It's there. And now we have 1, 2, 3 images. Yeah, 3 images. There we go. It works. Awesome. Let's go here. Yeah, loads correctly. You can see it loads pretty quickly because we're getting pretty small images, so it looks pretty nice. It works pretty nice. Cool. It's working. Let's grab one. Like this one. Wait. I think we have an issue here. I don't know what I did, but this is now loading more files than it should load. Yeah. This is weird. Not sure exactly what I messed up. All right. So this is working. Great. Let me see if I can see what I did here and fix that. All right. So yeah, when I was pasting code, I actually added the load function here. Remember, I lost it from here. It went over down here. So let's remove that from there. That is not supposed to be there. So when we were clicking these buttons, you were loading more assets and more assets. So that is not what we want to do there. So yeah, there was a little bug there, but it works now. Let's do this. Click, click, click. Yeah, this was a little bit slow, and that was why, because it was loading more assets. But now you can see this still where it goes. If we go to skies, should work in another section as well. Yeah, there we go. We have a sky. We have the image there. We might just make a widget that floats here and shows the full size image. I guess that we can do that. Just have a huge floating one here. That would be nice to do. But now it works, and you can see the tags work. We can do that for every single thing here. Look at them and evaluate which one we want. How does it look on a render? And how does it look complete here? Cool. And have the tags. All right. That's going to be it for today. And next time we're going to do the similar assets as well. But if you feel like you know what you're doing at this point, you could figure out like, okay, I mean, the similar assets going to basically be the same as the tags, but with images, and those images are going to be exactly the same thing as we did for this content, really. So maybe I can figure that out. And I actually gave you the address where you can get the similar objects from here. Where are you? Similar thingy. Here, I give you the URL. You can get the similar assets to. You can see it's just called similar, and then you pass the name of the asset you're looking for. If we see this on the website, let's just see this. Copy. See, no, we have a website here. Yeah. So if I put this image, this here, you can see here it gives me the similar assets to that one. We see this in the formatter here. Process that. You can see this is the similar ones. So just gives you a new JSON object with the similar assets, and each one of these assets have properties, tags, etc. The only thing you need basically here is the names, and then you can load names similar to what we are already loading for this. Create a layout here and put them there. So yeah, it's up to you if you want to do that as I guess like a homework or something to look forward to, but I'm going to implement it later, maybe in the next video, right? Okay, hope you are enjoying this. This is amazing. I mean, this is looking great. We can toggle it on and off. We can see different images from all of this. I mean, it's taking shape really, really nicely. We can make that look way better for now with just adding buttons and putting it like that, but we can make it look better later when we go to the polishing section. For now, it's working great. It's really useful, and you can already be using it for your projects already. Okay, right. All right. Hope you learned a lot in this video and had fun as much as I had fun putting this together. So I will see you in the next one. Let's keep learning together.